Divine Indifference. By Orthoris. Chapter 24. The Right to Rule. Atlas sat in between two trees, their shadow giving some respite from the hot summer day. A cool beverage was sitting on the ground next to him, at the moment his only companion during the small break he was taking. From his spot he could oversee the complete construction going on before him. Just as Atlas had predicted, after Discord's defeat, the ponies of Equestria had turned towards their two saviors. It was generally agreed upon that they should be leading the country, as symbols of peace and unity, in part due to their alicorn nature. What was left of the ponies who had formed the government before then were appointed as Celestia's and Luna's advisors, helping as the sisters got used to their new positions. The former government had scattered years ago, due to the general citizens blaming them for not being able to help them in their time of need. With Discord governing everything, even gravity, there was no need for them anymore. Thus, they had each gone their own way, with only a few remaining that were willing to pick up a new post in the newly formed diarchy. It took them a good year to get everything in order, but after Atlas's suggestion, the construction of a palace was finally started, smack dab in the middle of the ever-free forest. Ponies of all races came together to build the thing, cooperating like never before and putting all of their skill into their work, to not only make the palace beautiful, but a symbol of their true unification. Of course Atlas was helping as well, even if only two ponies knew about it. He was busy making himself a secret basement without any pony finding out. For some reason he had gotten so used to being in dank and dark caves that he just kind of longed for it. "There you are," Celestia said, coming up from the side. "I've been looking all over for you." "Just taking a little break," Atlas said, patting the ground next to him. "Why don't you join me?" "I will, thank you," Celestia replied, tiredly sitting down next to Atlas. "I was surprised when I didn't find you working on your little project in the basement." "Well, even a reclusive stallion like me needs a bit of sunshine every now and then," Atlas replied slightly sarcastically. "Gotta get that vitamin D." "There's all kinds of dirty jokes that could be made with that setup," Celestia smirked. "Well, you're a princess now, and raunchy jokes don't befit a mare of your stature," Atlas quipped back. "After all, you have to be a good role model for your citizens. And whose fault exactly is it that I'm now supposed to lead a country together with Luna?" Celestia said while helping herself to Atlas's drink, trying, and failing, to look regal while doing so. "I could say it's because of me, but ultimately it was you who decided that you wanted to do this, so I'm inclined to say it's your own fault." "True enough," Celestia sighed. "While everything happened quite fast, it was my own decision to go through with this. I just wish you hadn't been so cryptic about it." "Being cryptic is fun," Atlas replied coolly. "You should try it sometime, the common folk love it." "I wouldn't go so far as to call my would-be citizens common folk," Celestia bit her lower lip. "I'd feel like I'd be looking down on them." "You should try My Little Pony's trademark, I'm sure it'll suit you," Atlas supplied. "Just know that it's trademarked." "I did not know you could trademark phrases," Celestia replied slightly confused. "But, that actually does sound rather nice." Celestia seemed to seriously think about the matter, causing Atlas to softly shake his head, wondering what he had just started. He was starting to feel like he was micromanaging the outcome of the future, starting to think that he should stop being too involved. After all, from this point on they'd probably do just fine without him, just like Celestia and Luna from the cartoon had without him. "You know," Celestia started up again, "I still think you should be the one leading the ponies of Equestria. You'd be a far better leader than Luna and I could ever be." "Yes, I'm well aware of your feelings on the matter," Atlas replied, slightly miffed that she was bringing this particular topic up again. "You were very vocal about it after all. But, just as I told you every other time, I'm not supposed to lead. I have no right to." "I still don't know why you hold on to that belief. You've been an outstanding member of society and you have achieved a great many things in your time so far, which leads me to believe that you'd advance Equestria into a new age like we've never seen before, given the chance," Celestia pressed on. "I never had the right to interact with this world on this large of a scale, yet I did," Atlas said solemnly. "And in the process, I did some things that are unforgivable. So assuming I ever had the right, I've lost it a long time ago. Even if you think that way, I still believe you'd do a good job. In the end, you want what's best for Equestria, and apparently you wouldn't stop at anything to make it happen, so why not?" "Not stopping at anything is a one-way trip to a dictatorship, you know," Atlas said. "Then, there's the matter of me simply not wanting to," he added with a shrug. "I'll still help you out if you need me, but don't you dare give me any kind of official post. I have very important research to conduct once I'm all set up. More important than you'll ever know." "There you go being cryptic again," Celestia whined. "Why do we always have to drag every piece of information out of you? If everything goes according to plan, you'll never have to know. You'll sleep a lot better this way, trust me," Atlas commented with a weak smile. Celestia let out a deep sigh. "I guess I'll just have to trust you on that. Just know that if you ever need our help, you've got it. I hope when the time comes, you'll trust us enough to confide in us." "I'd really rather not," Atlas said, much to Celestia's chagrin. "This is my own burden to carry, and if possible, I'd like to resolve it on my own. Alas, there's a lot at stake, not just concerning me, but every pony. Just know that I'll do everything to see my task through successfully, even if it means I'll have to ask for help." "I suppose that's all I could ask for," Celestia said, watching over the ponies working on their new home. "I'm sure they would help you too, if they just knew." "Let's hope it never comes to me needing the help of so many," Atlas said wisely. "Well, I'll leave you to your break," Celestia said while getting up. "I'm sure Luna is looking for me by now. There's still a lot to do and approve." "I'm sure there is," Atlas chuckled. "Managing a whole country should bring a lot of boring paperwork with it." "It might be boring, but someone has to do it," Celestia replied. "Besides, we'll have plenty of ponies to help us, so I'm sure we'll do just fine." "Hey, better you than me, am I right? Don't act like your magical theories aren't bland and boring most of the time as well." Celestia got a last jab in while walking away, even going so far as to stick out her tongue. "Princesses don't stick out their tongues," Atlas called after her, shaking his head in mirth. He looked after her as she went back to the would-be castle, greeting ponies left and right. Every pony seemed incredibly happy when they saw her, looking up to her like she was some kind of messiah. And she probably was to them, even if she was a fake one, produced by Atlas. They were obviously building more than just a palace here. They were building a foundation. The foundation of a great country, with Celestia and Luna at its very center. Atlas was acutely aware of the fact that he wasn't essential going forward now, and he wanted the sisters to not be too dependent on him, so they may become reliable adults. Combined with the knowledge of what he had to do, he vowed then and there, that when the time finally came, he'd leave. He'd stay and watch over them until his research was complete and then go to execute whatever was necessary to preserve this world. Atlas emptied the last of his drink before getting up and walking back towards the construction site as well. He still had a lot to do, and he was intent on doing it alone. After all, ponies tend to suffer when they get too involved with him. Author's note. A bit of a short one, this one is. Once again, thanks to my editors Azriel and Alcatraz, as well as my proofreaders Kilobytes and Soren Mercer. Today's chapter was brought to you by this song. Come join us in the Discord channel. Lonk. Or the official Divine Entertainment group. Divine Universe. Support me on Patreon. End author's note. End chapter 24. The Right to Rule.